Okay, welcome guys. Hope you're all doing well. It's this week's video, and I'm going to be speaking on Egypt and the reawakening of the temple knowledge. Now, I was inspired, and this was triggered by Linda and Nina from the sorry, I've forgotten the name. The Quantum Healing Group and the New Era, Quantum Healing in the New Era. Sorry. And it was quite funny because obviously they're both very intuitive and have great psychic abilities. Hi there, Linda's just come on now. I think Nina's coming on as well. So great. This is from you, Linda. Just want to just tell you what I brought through, and it was quite interesting, quite a lot in alignment with what you were saying. And this is all going to be coming into the teachings that I've been talking about anyway. And actually, I have a list where my soul wants me to go and teach around the world, and actually Oslo in Norway is one of the spots. So again, I want to thank her for being a catalyst for that initiation. And of course, you know, many of us have been in the ancient Egypt, both as in the dark brotherhood and the light brotherhood. I certainly was. You know, I'm sure there's so much more. Well, there is definitely a lot more than we can even access and understand in our reality at the moment. But a lot of the work we have been doing comes from Egypt anyway, especially the Tree of Life, which is in the numerology and activations that are all part of this diamond light teaching and the alignment modality that I'm creating. And this is all coming under the same model of energy and imprint that spirit are trying to bring back into us. And this blueprint is sitting in 4D already, so we're actually just rising into it. So as we let go of 3D consciousness, we naturally just are there anyway. We're already there. So again, we need to get out of this raising and lowering and all the rest of it. We just is. And it's a lot more empowering when you know it's just through the surrender, and you're just there. And this is a lot about the quantum healing and quantum medicine now is very much around just in the vibration. And you can work just with frequency and vibration alone to transmute any cellular disease or illness and so many other things. But this will all come out later, obviously. And the great thing about this as well, what we've been imparted, and I'm constantly bringing new information through, you know, Jennifer Starlight in Australia, she's still working on the numerology and bringing more of that through. Her colleague Michelle is bringing the astrology through, and Aman Min is actually working with her to bring the ancient stuff back. Because when the numerology, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but when the numerology and astrology was put on the planet, you know, the current model that we're working with, our consciousness was much lower. So you could only bring a certain aspect of that through, and we're working a lot on the 7-plane consciousness. We're actually living 9 planes or 9 densities, and we work with a 9 chakra system now, not a 7. And also, I was talking to Jennifer the other day, and she mentioned and Min had said that all chakras are all of the colours of the rainbow. There is no difference. You can't create a divide between the colours, because they're all as equally important for each other. So when you see chakras psychically, you should see, you know, the 7, 8, 9 colours within the chakra. Okay, so this vibration, so basically just come back to Linda's message, and I'm going to post that message onto my group so everyone knows why this has happened. And Linda wrote a lovely message, and she's talking about bloodlines, bringing back the temple awareness. And there's a lot of us from ancient Egypt, especially Atlantis as well, and even Lemuria. And it's funny because the Lemurian guides are coming through now as well through this message, and they are bringing back this model that we used to work in. Now, I also want to say that Lemuria and Atlantis, we think are very old civilizations. They're not. They're like yesterday civilizations. They're not that old. And if you think about, you know, the initial portal systems that we have on here are like 1.8 billion years old. Now, this is the ancient builder race, and Corey Goodgut talks a lot about them. And a lot of their technology has been reverse engineered now, which our governments are using. And these are the portals. You know, you can get to Mars and the moon within seconds. I mean, even the spacecraft we've got now, I think it takes about 20 seconds to get to the moon. It's crazy. These ancient civilizations are the ones that are apparently are coming, and probably need to channel this as well, are the ones that are sort of around our solar system now, making sure and monitoring everything. Because a lot of their stuff that was used in the old days is now being used and has been used for a negative. So I think there's a karmic issue there. I'm not too sure. Again, you know, we could go on for days and months and years, you know, looking at all this information, and it would just become too overwhelmed, because even Spirit told me not to get too much into all the other stuff. You know, we just need to focus on the emotional body, getting everyone into alignment with their souls, and naturally that information will be remembered. But humanity's already in too much despair anyway to try and start learning about all this other stuff at the moment. So don't get too, you know, just make sure you're spending the time on yourself, because it's very, I mean, these subjects are very exciting. So, you know, it's you want to pursue them. But you just need to remember to come back to ourselves. Okay, so what I'm going to do, like I said, I'll post Linda's message after this, so please read that as well, and then it will make sense what I'm saying here. Okay, so this comes from the Viridians. Now, the Viridians, when I was created, and like all souls are created, we go out into the cosmos on all different planes of consciousness, and we will attach to established civilizations or beings of light, or whatever you want to call them, or planets, etc. And I attach myself to the Viridian consciousness. Now, the Viridian consciousness are part of the Union in Love and Light, which I'm in as part of. They are a huge part of the creation of water, and this is all in my book, and I'll explain a bit more about that later as well. And also seeding of planets. So they are here as well, bringing back the original blueprint for Earth. And this ties into the temple culture of Atlantis, Lemuria, and all the ancient civilizations, because these are as old as time itself as well, these beings. And they actually reside on the 10th density, and they reside on the Council of 10 as well. And they're an androgynous race, sorry. So once you hit the 10th density, and there's 13, don't forget, once you hit the 10th, the union of male and female becomes one again. So we split that divide, we just become one. So everything but above 10 to 13, obviously 13 is the void, the unmanifest. So everything comes from there anyway. But from 10th, 11th, 12th, you are neither identified as male or female. And we'll be talking a bit more about that as well when it becomes relevant to where we are at in our evolution and how it affects us. Because I did channel something today I'm putting on my podcast about duality and how we exist in duality in 4D. And it's quite interesting. And there's a bit more to bring through. I've only got a few paragraphs on that. So I'm going to, once the rest of it comes through, then I'll share it. Okay, so I want to give you the message. So Egypt, the temple goddess energy is reawakening in the collective. And it's asking you to come back to the temple life of acknowledging your forefathers. There are many among you who are realigning your genetic coding with the ancient temple coding. In the temples, you would align your 4-body system with these markers, allowing you to move off-world, entering realms of many civilizations. The exchange of knowledge and information was practiced fluently. You are remembering within yourselves the great sacrifices you made to keep the sacred knowledge afloat. The Dark Brotherhood created a paralysis within the human psyche and banned all worship and alignment to the stars. They placed etheric attachments within the etheric body that stopped your Merkaba from spinning, and this shut down the waves of energy that would project you out of your body. You will find through Soma breath a backdoor entry point into these devices, and with intention you can break into them, dissolving the conformity. So this is basically just removing like psychic hooks or implants and stuff. You carry within you the high priestess coding, excuse me, that has been locked away in your 4D bodies. And you can now unlock this knowledge with the Ankh. Now the Ankh is the the Egyptian sort of cross with a circle. The ankh has within it the ancient coding, and when placed over the heart and thymus, it activates the buried temple knowledge. You carry forth the elixir of life force, which will grow back into the earth as a physical consciousness. Once the temple knowledge is reawakened, the fall will disperse. Now, the fall is the dark brotherhood or the control net. The opening of the ear canal will enhance the production of mitochondria in the cells that will spin and form a vortex to open up and draw the 4D temple knowledge into the physical 3D. It is good to have gold with you to act as a conduit of this life force. The purpose is to create a gridwork or lattice around the planet to assist the planet to hold in 4D. The ancient ley line energy of geometry will then light up, and all in space will see Earth's ancient language relit and reformed. And even Amin has spoken that he said very, very soon, or when we move actually into this, the Earth is going to come back to the haven it originally was. And he said it will shine so bright that, you know, you'll see it through the universe, basically, at least the galaxy. This is a very special planet Earth. Currently, you have a dark net that enslaves the planet from galactic contact. The frequency is a low-grade hum that keeps humanity docile, subservient. We are now releasing its hold, and people will feel this in numerous ways. However, the main feeling will be, I've had enough of the lies. Further pursuing truth, questioning and demanding the trial of our leaders. The ancient Egyptian flame is reigniting deep under the pyramids, and the forefather energies are moving to the surface. Your bloodline is actually blue, and it holds within it the sacred sixth form of the sacred flower. Many of you travel to and from the planets of the Pleiades system, where much of your agricultural teachings came from in the old days. Maize was widely used in the ancient days to bring nourishment, and within maize was held the ancient sixth universal imprint. The Sirius constellation was a gateway between Earth and other realms, and the Syrian temples that are within Sirius mirrored aspects of Egypt. Gold was used a lot in those days, with much of it taken off planet. The consciousness of gold was used in 6D to create a foundation with which to light travel. In the 17th century, gold was taken from the Mayan civilizations from deep within the burial grounds to build portal gates on other planets. The densities of 3, 6 and 9 are now wishing to align again on Earth. The temple knowledge must be reawakened. Once these three are back in alignment, all densities will assist each other consciously, creating a much more enriching Earth life. So the blood is blue, diamond and white. It's electric. The electricity will ignite the cellular world and bring us out of a dormant existence, the long sleep. You must have the trinity of these three densities in alignment for universal alignment to occur. We will be sending many of the Lemurian masters to assist in the rebuilding of the etheric imprint that will hold space over the physical 3D human being. Letting go of 3D attachment will allow you to float up into the etheric blueprint. This will enhance all off-world communication. Through your imagination, you should travel below the pyramids and the Sphinx, connecting in with the sacred flame. Talk to the flame and it will show you all you need to know. Your ancient bloodline of family of light is awakening, and you are resetting the ancient earth markers, holding the space for all humanity as they awaken from their sleep. So, yeah, so once you, those messages are always fantastic and great. And it's something that because understand that when we hear these types of messages, it unlocks the soul contract, even if we're not consciously aware of it or not. And then that actually brings more of our purpose to the surface, and also starts unlocking a lot more synchronicity in our lives if we stay on that path. So within the words, and even the book that I've written, I didn't know this at the time, but I was told sort of halfway through writing it, that the frequency in the words, or how it's been written, is an activation in itself. And when my editor first picked it up, she felt that, and everything started changing within her life within about 48 hours. So it was a lovely confirmation that the words and the frequency in these types of channelings are actual activations in themselves. You're not just hearing it, it's actually activating cellular consciousness. And to be honest, it's all about the cells, because the cells are what's holding light, and the cells are what passes that communication to your fellow human beings. So we're going to be getting right into that cellular world. I think we talked a little bit about last week with the subatomic. So everything's coming down to that micro level, and remembering the energy that's there, because it's a whole other world, but it's a very powerful world, and we just don't see it with our 3D eyes, and it's not talked about. But the ancient cultures would work at that level for many things, for science, for travel, for healing, everything, and even working at that level. Growing food is really important, because that's the foundational blueprint. So it's the frequency in food that's very important, and that's going to be changing a lot soon, because our soil, God, I'm getting verbal diarrhea here. The soil is depleted of all the minerals and vitamins that we need in our bodies. However, what's going to be happening is that the more consciousness, and especially when you start working with this temple energy, you'll need a lot less food anyway, because the ancient ones, they didn't really eat. You know, they would have a few greens here and there, but you can just download consciousness and live off that. I'm sure most people know that anyway, but that will actually become a practice very soon, and you'll find that a lot of the foods you won't need to eat anymore. And actually, the more food you eat, probably the more tired you'll feel anyway, because you're putting density into the body. All right, guys. So yeah, I'll post on Linda's message now, and look forward to speaking to you all next week. I'm getting very close to putting the teachings out, so I'll keep you all informed with that, and we'll probably do a lot online anyway to start with. And I'll be definitely coming over to Norway, so we can talk about that at some stage. All right, guys. Thank you. All the best. Bye-bye.